So, guys, this is my weekly report for October 24th. So, first, I want to let you know what I've been doing down the Delta. Been doing some striper fishing, but it hasn't been too good. And the bass bite's been pretty good. The fish are starting to get a little bigger. I was down there the other day with Charles, and we probably caught, I don't know, 30, 40 fish. And the biggest was probably a little over 4 pounds. But it's been a good bite down there. The water's definitely starting to cool off. Like I said, last week was 74. This week, the other day I was down there, it was 64, so it dropped about 10 degrees. That's a good thing for the stripers, but they just haven't come in yet. We need a little rain. This kind of weather needs to stay here for at least a week, and they'll start coming in. Yesterday, I did a little consulting down in Sherman Island, and I never got bit. It was horrible. The water was a little stained. You know, when I went out to Winter Island, it was a little stained. I could probably see down about 6 inches max. And then when I went into Sherman, I could see down maybe a little over a foot. I ran from Pittsburgh all the way to Antioch, past Big Break, and we spooned some little guys, but nothing. It was terrible. My guy I was with had one on right to the boat. It was a keeper, but that's about it. Then we went jigging, and I think he foul hooked a sturgeon because it just took off, stopped, and just couldn't move it. But anyway, come on, button. But technically, I could really say that I didn't even get a bite. Very, very tough, and those kind of days don't happen to me very often. So anyway, let's talk about something else. Weather hasn't been permitting the guys to go out after bluefin or albacore. I haven't heard too much anything going on. It looks like the weather's going to start calming down, so maybe there'll be some guys getting out there doing some chasing some bluefin or albacore, and then when they start reporting, I'll let you guys know. San Francisco Bay. Well, besides that, remember, I think it's the first Saturday in November. Dungeness crab season opens. The rock fishing, you have to be out in that 50 Phantom, so you'll be in 300 feet or more. But the crabbing looks like it's going to be a good season. You can't use cages or pots. You have to use those lobster rings. And, it opens November 2nd, which is the first Saturday, and it should be really good. Um, the bottom fishing has been off the hook. Like I know Rick Powers out of Bodega, James Smith out of San Francisco, Berkeley. They've been making runs out to the banks out there, and they've been catching monster lingcod, big reds, a lot of everything. They've been catching. You're going to come in with a heavy sack of rockfish. Well, when they start doing the combo trip, you're going to go out there on the way. They'll drop the pots, and then on the way back, they'll pick them up. So you're going to have a limit of rockfish and a limit of crabs. So, if you want to go, you better call them and make reservations now because, it's going to be filled up here pretty quick. So other than that, like I said, the bottom fishing's been off the hook. I know James has been running out, going south, and also getting a lot of big lings in that 20 plus column. And then he's been getting those vermilions, the red ones that are like 6 to 12 pounds, big boys. So, call them guys and give them a shout. And get a book a trip. Anyway, the bay has been okay. There's still a lot of stripers there. That's why I think there's none down here in the Delta. That water's been so warm. They've been staying down there, more comfortable for them, a lot of food. So they'll stay down there until it cools off, maybe starts raining a little bit. Then they'll start making their way and make the Delta their home until it's time to go up river and spawn. So, a lot of I don't know, you could call I'm pretty sure they still got bait, at Live Anchovies over there. Pier, I think it's 36 on the wharf over there at San Francisco. And I'm sure you could still catch halibut in the bay and stripers. So, You know, there's something if you want to just stay close and go in the bay, you can do that. And leopard sharks has been off the hook also. You know, they're those six packs were doing that a little bit, and they were just catching, having days, you know, catching 20 or 30 of those leopard sharks and some other different sharks to boot. Coming in a little closer, you know, sturgeon season's open now. You know, you want to make sure you get your report card. If you have report cards remaining this year, you can't keep any, even though you got the tags, you can't keep them. So make sure you read the regs. It's all catch and release now. You got, you know, your guides like Jay Lopes, Steve Mitchell, Ricky Acosta. Those guys are going out there, Pittsburgh, and anchoring up and having. Jay had 3 on the other day at once, and they're catching 20 sturgeon, you know, on an outing. It's just unbelievable that they could say there's no fish when these guys could go out there and catch that many fish. So make sure you fill those report cards out because that's where they get a lot of their data. So, you know, make sure you fill them out every time you go and whether you catch any, how many you released, and everything else. So, other than that, I know Rio Vista's been off and on. You guys know Mark Wilson. He's one of the best trollers around here. I heard the other day he was out there trolling all day, covered like 50 miles, and didn't even get a keeper. Ooh, that's not good because a month ago they were slaughtering them where they were catching a lot of nice fish. And he's trolling the deep diving Yozuris, and I think he's using the redhead. I heard he's using redhead and then the chartreuse one, depending on the color of the water. So other than that, I think it's pretty quick here when they start getting in the Rio Vista. You can start spooning a lot of them. Just need the weather change and those fish to move in the system. And I'll be out there all the time, so you know I'll let you guys know what's going on here. So crappie fishing, you know this is the time of the year. I'm going to be going out tomorrow. I might shoot a little video, um, depending on how I do. But my brother and my sister-in-law went out yesterday and caught over 100, and they were nice size. They were, you know, bigger than your hand. So the water temperatures are cooling off. The bigger ones are showing up, and you know they're catching some nice crappie. So I'm gonna go give it a try tomorrow. So I'm sure you could get them. I was up at Berryessa maybe a week and a half ago, bass fishing, and I was catching crappie probably 2 size at my hands, and so it's probably about time, you know, where you could go up there and go anywhere, Berryessa, Delta, or wherever you want to go and catch crappie. The bass in the lakes and stuff have been pretty decent. I know Blade Runner, you know, Rick, he was up at Folsom spooning them, catching a lot of them. Berryessa has been pretty decent spooning them. I'm sure you could go to Comanche or any of these lakes because this is the fall. Water temperature are cooling. Those shad will move up into the main river creek channels, and you could graft them. You know, I've just graft them, and then when you see them, just start dropping that spoon down there. The Delta flip bass fishing has been crazy. You know, I've been going down there having 30, 50 fish days. Um, Top water's been really good, and I've been also flipping a bunch of them. They're in that transition, moving on to wood. And, you know, this is the time of year that I really like to go down there. It needs to cool off a little bit more, and I'll start getting some pretty heavy limits. Right now, I've been getting around 12 to 15 pound limits, but pretty soon here, I anticipate them growing up to like 18 to 20. So, other than that, trout, Pyramid Lake, I heard the algae blooms kind of going away. So, if you want to go I know they're still catching them there because a friend of mine lives there, Gabe, and they've been still catching a lot of fish. They're catching most of them catching trolling, but you can jig them also. Um, I know, like I said last week, Mark Blatton was up there with Nate, Big Nate, and they had, you know, 12 over 15 pounds spooning. So, you know, if you want to catch one of them big trouts, head up to Pyramid. Berryessa, I know Big Nate's still been getting them up there. I'm sure New Melones, Orville, Shasta, you know, this time of year when it starts cooling off, you know, it's time to get up there and start trolling for trout if that's what you want to do. King salmon been a little bit tough. I know a couple of friends, Rick and Big Al, were up at Berryessa, and they couldn't find any king salmon. They caught a lot of trout, but no king salmon. I imagine Orville would be a good place, and maybe Folsom even to try. Kokanee's coming to an end. This is getting real late for them. If you do get them, they're going to be turned already. So, the males will have the hook jaw. It'll be kind of red color, but they still smoke up good. But I'm sure Bullards, New Melones, Party, Stampede, you could probably still catch them if you want to head up there and try it. So that's about it for the fishing news. Um, if you want to fish local steelhead or stripers, there's a couple guys, and all these guys I'm referring. If you just Google their name, you could get their phone numbers, and you could you could look them up. But Austin Wilson and Kyler Perry, who used to work with me at Fisherman's Warehouse, they're pretty decent on the American River for steelhead or stripers. So if you want to do something close, you could give them guys a call and hook up a trip that's real close around here. Don't forget the Blind Squirrel channel. Derek's been posting videos. When he doesn't catch them or catches them, he'll post them either way. Um, and don't forget Saturday, um, November 2nd, NorCal Sportsman's Guides and Sportsmen's Association are doing their fundraising dinner. These are the guys that fight for your rights, whether you could go salmon fishing or sturgeon or whatever. They're the ones that go over there and and they're putting they're the ones that are standing up for the anglers. So you want to support them. They have this raffle and it's a dinner, and it's in Marysville. They raffle off 100 guns, and they're raffling off like 50 guide trips, 5 lifetime hunting and fishing licenses. They're gonna raffle a lot of good stuff off. So you can go online to ncgasa.org, and you can buy your raffle tickets right online. Or if you want, call James Stone and ask him what's going on, and he'll be glad to help you out. Then every Saturday, I'm on California Sportsman's 1140 on the AM dial at 640. Every first Saturday of the month, I'm actually in the studio, so I'll go on with Kent with Ultimate Bass and give you a little what up to date between now and Saturday. If I hear anything, I usually talk about it, on the radio show. So anyway, other than that, if you guys like the video, hit the like, please subscribe, and if you got comment you want to ask me, just ask me anything, and I'll get back to you within a few days. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.